Hello there, this is Critical from Critical Media. Just taking a look at the 2023 release of Otto Binder's The Unwanted. Now, this is a story from the late 50s that was unused by Ccmics, so it's been revived by Fantagraphics Underground, and predominantly it's brought back by Reiner, no, not the director, the art predominantly coming from Stefan Koidl, but the art direction coming from another Ccmics great, Angelo Torres. And what we usually do at this channel is give you an idea of what to expect if you ever come across these books in the wild. So we go over the exterior, some bonus material, art and plot points, and then a brief review at the end. Now, as mentioned, it's basically an older narrative, but brought back to us, and it's very, very pivotal. It's very much in lieu of the same Judgment Day story from Willie Gaines and Al Feldstein. As a matter of fact, at least on the cover here as we look, yes, it is a hardbound cover, very evocative by Koidl. But ironically, this man here, this character here, looks a lot like Willie Gaines, the publisher of Ccmics. And his father, Max Gaines, is actually the father of comics when you think about it. He literally created the medium. But yeah, you'll notice it's a little bit smaller than your average book. As a matter of fact, this comic isn't even so much a comic, but rather more of a literary prose. And yeah, just a very evocative rear here with your typical synopsis. Fantagraphics Underground right there. And as mentioned, it's a pretty brief story. But mind you, its source, or should I say its inspiration, it was also just a 7-page story. So ironically, this is like a 70-page book. So not bad there. Now, in terms of bonus material, yeah, there's a pretty lengthy introduction here by Emil Ferris. So definitely introducing us to what this is about. I love this, by the way. Science fiction is never about the future. I love that idea. But yeah, a pretty lengthy introduction here. And also, yes, a forward in advance. And in terms of bonus material, yes, you are pretty much getting a very familiar vein as well. So let me just try and turn that page because that's kind of a revealing point there. There we go. So yeah, it kind of starts off the bonus material. Yeah, it's predominantly just another, of course, explanation from the editor, Reiner there. But I like how you get a little bit of the image of the original draft. And yes, you'll notice you'll see his pseudonym, Otto Binder's pseudonym, Yando, which more so represented any time one of he and his brothers wrote a book together. Like in this case, it's he and his brother Earl. By the way, for those of you who may already know this or not know this, Otto Binder's pretty much a big deal in comics. He's been there since the beginning, or sorry, he was there since the beginning. So yeah, he helped write some of my favorite stories from Captain Marvel. Both of his brothers actually, Jack and Earl, also worked on Captain Marvel back in the day. And also, at least in this case, what's unique is he also used to work for Ccmics as well. So the flavor is very much familiar. It has a similar taste in your mouth, that's for sure. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the packaging out here. Now, at least for art and plot points, as mentioned, this book is heavily inspired by a story called Judgment Day. That's actually this book here that I keep going over here. So in this book, there's pretty much a very pivotal story. It's only 7 pages long, this collection, but it has probably one of the most pivotal books ever, Judgment Day, about this visitor who visits a planet, offering them to be included in a grand republic, so to speak, a republic of the worlds and whatnot. So it's a very similar theme here as well, and a very similar message that was conveyed by Al Feldstein and Willie Gaines back in the day. By the way, another little tidbit for you guys. William Gaines, his father, Max Gaines, is basically the father of all comics. He's literally the creator of this medium, right? But you're kind of noticing right off the bat, this isn't your typical comic book. It's more of a literary prose, just, complemented by Koidl's art here. And it does start off very similar to Judgment Day. These two visitors, they visit a world very much like our own, very possibly our own actually. They never actually say what it is. They keep that subtlety intact. And yes, they're basically just assessing this planet to see if they're worthy of joining this grand, universal republic, so to speak. If you're familiar with, Hoxpox, like Jonathan Hickman, or even Decorum, his other book, he was very good at showing you the celestial hierarchies, the different levels of civilization. So it's a very familiar idea here as well. But yeah, they're basically offering, greater technology, greater science and medicine, cure all your diseases and whatnot, but they still need to assess planets. And yes, it does introduce this concept of these mastermen, the assessors. In this case, the name of the two characters, I believe it's Kiln and Mada. So very alien sounding names, that's for sure. But yes, they kind of go through the idea or, the background that sometimes if a planet isn't worth their time, they'll just use it for experiments and just take it over kind of thing. Or if they are worthy, include them. But you're seeing a lot of striking art here from Koidl. Koidl himself is more of a 3D artist. So you'll notice a lot of his art almost has a very, a very great sense of depth, like as though they're living beings. And you can see also that he himself opted for more of a painted style, but very on point in that light. But the message of this book is ultimately who is really being assessed here. These people, these mastermen that come to visit us, are they really worthy of joining, or is there something else? Maybe are we not appreciating something of our own? But yeah, you're just seeing excellent designs here, very intriguing aspects here. Probably one of the most important parts is when the mastermen, they're just assessing everything. They're assessing, this humanity, whatever they are. They're assessing, their IQ, their morality, all that kind of things. They have these machines and whatnot. They're somehow doing it for them. Very unique there. But probably one of the most important moments is this moment here with this, elderly woman on her way home from work, and they stop her. They're almost revolted by her. Gee, I guess maybe you guys might understand why. It is bringing up that unfortunate form of prejudice. But man, it's a very hard-hitting moment. And you start to see these mastermen definitely differently. That's for sure. But yeah, you're just seeing this very consistent style throughout it. And this almost stuck up, or should I say superiority aspect of these mastermen. That they don't really care whether or not, this world is worthy or not. They just have their own opinions. But it has an excellent cathartic moment here. There's a certain line of dialogue on this page, basically just reminding us as a people, maybe what we can be, what we should be, what we should strive to be. And just like with Judgment Day, how it brought a very important idea to mind, Otto Binder was basically doing the very same thing. But probably on top of, just one type of prejudice, other ideas, other emotions that we have as a society. Very striking. It may look like a storybook, but the kind of subject matter here, it's definitely one to really assess and really, go in an introspective fashion with. Highly impressive book here. Admittedly, yeah, I was originally drawn because of Otto Binder himself. Yes, I'm a Captain Marvel fan, so I'm almost always going to hunt stuff down for him. But still, a definite nice little package here. I definitely recommend it for anybody. It's definitely a teacher's source, that's for sure. Very, very evocative story. But as mentioned in basically every video, it's not so much about my opinion at this point. Hopefully you guys ever come across this book, maybe come up with your own. And I wouldn't mind hearing your comments down below, as always. Y'all folks take care and enjoy the rest of your day.